What's up, Leo? We got first the card pull. We do the description for the card, which is from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck, and this is by Adriana Ayales, right? And then we go into the actual reading itself. And this particular card is Blue Lotus with the subtext of intuition. Intuitive knowing, unearthing the subconscious, meeting the guardians of mystery, dream work, initiation. The sacred and the mystical blue lotus, regarded as the flower of enlightenment, is an ethnobotanical treasure that has been recorded in ancient scriptures as a heal-all and is revered as an ancestral flower in mythological creation stories. Blue lotus is a water lily, best known for its powers of euphoria, intuition, rejuvenation, aphrodisia. Blue lotus was associated with the Egyptian sun god Ra, the ruler and bringer of light. It was used in religious rites and ceremonies led by shamanic priests to induce a trance-like state so one could commune with the gods. It was also used in funerary ceremonies after the death of a loved one. As blue lotus is said to assist the soul in entering the light. Interesting. The ancient Maya also revered the blue lotus and other water lilies and referred to it in Nahuatl as Quetzalcoatl, meaning precious water flower. God, I'm so sorry I butchered that. Blue lotus, also revered as the flower of the sun, embodies both solar and lunar elements. Chemically, it contains natural antispasmodic relaxant, and it contains a natural and antispasmodic relaxant called Nucifera moon, along with aperfine, which produces a sense of euphoria and bliss. These alkaloids, among other medicinal components, bring about pain relief, stress relief, and lucid awareness. This is the guidance portion. The blue lotus is a direct doorway, a mediator into the world of the gods. The perfected balance that it bestows us. Jesus Christ, I can read. Okay. The perfected balance that it bestows us assists us in bridging and refining the divine connection between the heart and the brain. Blue Lotus today is assisting you in widening the portals of your intuitive power, granting you access to the realms of the inner knowledge and held within the great mystery. Remember, the lotus rises from the depths of muddy waters, untouched and impeccable, to blossom into majestic beauty. Don't allow the muddy waters of the blossoming process to suppress your intuition and belief in yourself. Trust the process and believe in the mystery. Listen deeply to the guardians of mystery as you unfold from darkness. Okay, first off, I will say you guys should look into Senator Frank Church? I believe it's Frank Church. I'm going to look this up for you guys. Don't tell any of the other sons I did this. Okay, yeah, that was it. Senator Frank Church. This is very much something that you should understand in terms of this particular idea of what this guy was able to do. A lot of different things. Some say that well, I've heard it said, I'll say, that this idea of, for instance, the Frank Church Committee, that was a disclosure where these there was a committee, and basically they opened up some just horrific things about the FBI, about the CIA, about what they were doing. A lot of disclosures around like kind of the idea of how, you know, just the workings of particularly like J. Edgar Hoover and stuff like that, in terms of what really was behind a lot of what he did. And what is it called? I know MK Ultra, but there's another program that is also shed light on, and that was kind of forgetting this particular thing. It might come to me later, but he shed. There's a lot that was going on, and a lot that he ended up finding out, or this committee ended up finding out, that Frank Church was the head of. And he also founded Open Secrets, which is something that's probably that's still not talked about enough today. But the idea here is, what's the money in politics? Where's the money in politics going? How is it going? Right? Very important, and something that you should most certainly look into. But I've heard it said that kind of today we need another committee. We need another understanding of what can be, what needs to be disclosed today. Because we've went through so much, but we haven't really stopped to really look at things, and there's so much that we really need to look at, right? So, for instance, the weirdo tech guys that just want to, design social media and treat everybody like numbers so they get more ad revenue and stuff. It's crazy in terms of how things are going, but these guys are paying politicians and able to get away with all this stuff. It's insane. But also things like kind of the idea of the spying and the overreach that could be persistent beyond kind of what's gone on with particularly, like, we had our Edward Snowden for 9/11, but we haven't had anything Edward Snowden like for, we'll say, the idea of the COVID epidemic. We've heard chirps, we've heard things, but we haven't had people come in and say, hey, look, this is a huge problem. We need to go ahead and look into these things. And I mean, given that Edward Snowden is still in Russia and he's still wanted for like the Espionage Act, we are like, there's a very big chance that Big Brother has not learned anything and is actually going forward, and especially, basically, it's just a lot going off the rails. But look into that and understand that maybe could be most certainly a message in that story for you. And this idea of the Blue Lotus, I think one of the main things, I suppose, I really notice about this idea of this plant is how it rises from the muddy waters, or the muddy floor for these particular like ponds or whatever, but it rises from this muddy place to the surface, and it is untouched, right? These things, this accumulation of dirt, dust, mud, all that, it is to be able to rise to the top and be untouched by that is most certainly something to admire, but something that we should understand that if for any reasons we find ourselves in a situation that we feel kind of like is overbearing or overwhelming, that persistence to go forth and do anyway. There's a very real path that leads you to simply being that untouched version on the surface, right? There's something that makes the hurdles, the hardships, all worth it. So understand that that's there. There's two things. I think, what is it? I think it's not last week or the week before last, but it's a Pisces reading, and I think it was about Dandelion, right? It's the one with Dandelion, right? Because I remember it because it was Chiron or something like that was there. But you can look at that one and also look at the one that I'm going to release this week. I believe that is for Gemini, right? In terms of the idea of, I believe it's Gemini. Look in the Gemini for this week, and Pisces. It is not last week, but the week before last, and there could be a message there, and the Gemini message we're talking. There's a message that it reminds me about in terms of the resilience aspect and the gift of resilience. That may be one of the actual that may be an actual name of it when I post it. But this idea of what you guys are kind of coming into, able to kind of it makes the you need to understand that the destination could make the path very much worth it for various reasons. Rejuvenation is maybe something that a lot of you guys maybe have lost sight of in terms of the idea of being made whole, but it is something that is very much possible and very much waiting. And for those of you that really do need to hear this is I suppose the idea of continue forward and move with very real purpose. And with that being said, I feel like that Frank Church, it was honestly, it was pretty special. I really do mean it. Don't tell me you have the other signs. But yeah, thanks. I'll see you next week, and have a good week.